Invading the internet, covering Web 2.0, coast to coast, worldwide, and everywhere in between. This is where you put the social in social media. We are Social Blade.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Social Blade Show. This is episode number 54. I'm Jason Ergo.
I'm Aaron Ryan.
And I'm Jeff Krutter.
And unfortunately, our other co-host here, JD Rucker, appears to have passed out due to exhaustion. He's a little bit of a workaholic, if you know him at all, and we've been unable to reach him for the past hour. So we're just going to roll with just us here today. But as the vacant or whatever, absent, that's the word I want, JD Rucker likes to say, it's been a jam-packed week in social media. And we got a lot of things to talk with you guys about. So, shall we get into it?
We shall.
We shall. So, the first thing that I want to cover here is former model Carla Franklin, who's now an MBA grad, has sort of brought up these charges that she's had a YouTube video, and basically she got trolled like many other people have done over the past years, or have had happen to them over the past years. Someone called her a whore on her video. Ooh. And yeah, well, I know that's kind of brutal, but and basically she's brought charges to try to find out who that is that left that comment. And this is sort of a follow-up because a year ago, Liskula Cohen, I think is how you say her name, another model, had a similar thing happen to her, and she also brought charges to Google, and she won the case. So basically Carla is trying to do a similar thing and try to find out who this anonymous person is on YouTube. Now, this is something that happens, I mean, quite a lot, like I was saying. I mean, anyone that posts videos on YouTube, you can pretty much expect to get a lot of, well, you get a lot of good
nasty.
comments. Yeah,
they're nasty.
Yeah, there's trolls everywhere on the internet. And really, at least in my opinion, it's something that you have to just learn that they'll be there and just remove them if you don't like them. But what do you think? I mean, this really is a big issue. If especially, with kids posting videos, you know, they get all these comments on there, and it's cyberbullying. Do you think that Google or any provider, Facebook's a little different, we usually use real names on there, but do you think any service should be required to turn over the names of people that are doing this bullying? Or at the very least, do you think they should be required to have a team that investigates these type of things? If you report something, that it'll at least investigate who it is that's doing that? Or
well,
what do you think?
no in turning over the names, because that just starts another firestorm. But I think there should be at least a team, and YouTube has a huge problem with this in terms of just overall just negativity and just people blasting each other, and it makes the comment section for a lot of times, a lot of the big videos, not a fun place to interact. But so I think there does need to be somebody regulating or going through and taking out the ones that just don't need to be there. But at the same time, when you're going to be posting a video, into a public forum where it has the chance of reaching millions and millions and millions of viewers, I mean, you got to have some thick skin, because not everybody out of those millions of people are going to think the same way you do, mm-hmm. and aren't going to shame to share ideologies or have ill feelings towards you. So I think that's just part of posting on a public forum. But at the same time, if YouTube specifically wants to do something about it, I think there needs to be some sort of oversight.
Yeah. Now, this is really something I really don't have I'm torn a little bit here, because if there's people that are targeting you and you just keep getting on, say you're posting videos on YouTube, and if every single one of your videos you're just getting slammed by people targeting you with hateful comments, you shouldn't have to take something like that, I don't think. I mean, there should be some course that'll investigate that, especially if you're getting something like death threats or something.
Yeah, but at the same time, you can just sit up there and walk off. You can walk away.
Yeah. No,
I mean, have you ever seen the video of that girl who got bullied off WoW and then posted that video about her, talking about all the things she'd do to them if she ever saw them?
Is that the one that has the father there?
No. This is the one.
No, that's a different one. I was
This is
actually going to
different
bring that one up.
Yeah, but it's like, man, if you're going to allow yourself to be bullied over the internet, I mean, it's like ignore it. I mean, you're always taught, people are going to talk bad things about you, the sticks and stones and all that crap. But, if you were going to let that affect you, I mean, I think you need to get some thicker skin.
Yeah, no.
Well, Jasper Willow brings up a good point. I mean, kids group a target of some very serious cyberbullying. And I mean, more and more kids are videotaping even bullying at school offline and then targeting people online as well. But my thoughts on it is, first of all, if you're gonna subject yourself to the internet, know that it's World Wide Web for a reason. So that means anybody in the world can target you anonymously. However, I mean, we'll get into that in a few moments. Your privacy and all that is not so private, even when you think you're doing it anonymously. But have some common sense. I mean, first of all, don't put your children in front of a computer without being watching them. And I know, Ergo, you probably say different because you spent a lot of time on the computer when you were a kid. But I think that, it perhaps helped you get a thicker skin for being able to utilize YouTube or even sites such as Dig. I mean, Dig's another place where people can just say what they think.
It depends really on the kid, really. If you're mature enough to be able to deal with this type of thing, and even any person, really. You're saying supervise, which I agree for at least, until you're sure that the person is able to.
Right.
Maybe not forever. Yeah, like you're saying. Yeah, I definitely wasn't supervised myself, and I turned out fine. But it really depends on the person.
Yeah, but in this case, I mean, she's an adult, so
she's an adult person. I think where this becomes a serious problem in terms of cyberbullying is when you have people in school systems, whether it be public or private, who get bullied, at school, and then come home and get bullied over the internet, even more so because they can get away with it even more online. And I think that is where cyberbullying is a problem. Not some grown woman who, is off on her own, who can, dictate where she's going to be, day in and day out, instead of a student who has to be at school, who has to go through it day in and day out and, can't get away from it.
Right. I mean, I think the video we were referring to is her name online was Jessie. And I mean, she was just this like 12-year-old girl online, or 11, and she's going on ranting and raving as she's some college student. And, the trolls came out in herds and, abused her in the comment thread. And she was really hurt by this, and it picked up a lot of news and it went viral about it and everything. And her father said, "I'm going to contact the Cyberbullies." So, I mean, if there was a cyber police, that would be really interesting.
Maybe with the new Cyberzar coming out, but if you got to have thick skin if you're going to post stuff on public places. I mean,
I think if our future generation thought there was cyber police, maybe they'd have a little bit more feeling like, "Ugh, I don't want to get caught up in getting in trouble." But I don't know if that would really be effective if there was.
I think cyber police is I think it's kind of a joke. I mean, I think it's... Yeah. How can you police... I mean, you can't. You can't. So, I think it boils down to just, having thick skin and being able to ignore it if you're going to post things, especially on YouTube. Because I'd have to say... I mean, Ergo, you spent a ton of time on there. I mean, I'd say 70% of the comments are negative. 70.
Well, it depends on...
your community.
The people... Yeah. Maybe overall,
videos,
okay.
Videos that go big time.
Oh, absolutely on that. But
that's the same with the front page on Dig. I mean, the trolls come out. They want to see like, oh, how can I twist this and get witty and things like that. So I mean, it's those types of social network where it's open to the public and you don't have to accept them as a friend. Fortunately, Twitter hasn't turned like that either, though. So that's good.
Yeah, but it really hasn't. And what you're saying, Twitter has not.
Which I'm surprised because it's so open. I mean, there's been instances, but not places where this is what it's become. A lot of the time, if anything's going popular, like trending topics, for example, If that's what people are really talking a lot about, when you go and you look to see why, they're not talking negatively. It's a lot of positive energy on Twitter.
Well, I mean,
what's interesting.
Twitter actually has this whole thing where they can detect if something is positive or negative in the first place. So, technically speaking, they could easily just make it so trending topics can only be positive things.
Well, see, that's the thing too. I mean, maybe, well, that kind of sucks, because isn't that swaying how people view what type of content they're able to see? That shouldn't be okay. Although I prefer
Justin Bieber as a trending topic.
Not so much anymore, but he did
before
they fixed it.
No, they did it at one time.
Yeah.
They took it off, which is true. I mean,
yeah, for like all of 2009, he was one.
Yeah.
But I think sorry, go ahead.
Go ahead. I'm sorry. No, you go ahead.
I was going to say, I think this brings up an interesting thing in terms of negativity of are people, it goes back to the whole thing of, are people inherently good or bad? Are people online inherently good or bad? Like, do you get online and want to do good things? Or do you go online and want to, just be negative? And I actually watched a good video on this on TED.com. It was talking about this woman was just talking about how if the world played more video games, the general population, everyone would be better off. And the reason why is when people play like games such as MMOs, like WoW for Existence or, whatever MMO or any online game, they tend to be inherently good, tend to want to do good things. And when they do those good things, they have a feeling, what she called an epic win, that when they remove themselves from the game, they go out and want to do good. So good things online translate to good things in life. But I personally haven't seen that.
I don't agree with that at all.
Yeah.
I mean, the majority of things have been blamed on video games in regards to violence and killings, and especially for the younger ages, because they don't realize that those people aren't going to pop back up, or it's not going to restart. So I don't know about that, but when you're subjecting yourself to online, and that's good. What are your intentions online? Are you in it for the good, or are you in it for the bad? And that's interesting. And maybe perhaps Twitter does filter, unlike YouTube. So we don't get that negativity flow constantly, because if we did get a real-time constant flow of negativity, we would probably stop using it. We go to social networks to make us feel happy. So I think, that brings up a good point. Like, maybe they do cover it up, and perhaps YouTube should filter a little bit more of their content systems, but I don't see that happening.
Yeah, but do we go online to make people happy, or do we go online to criticize others?
YouTube, that's a totally different thing also on YouTube. I mean, that's just comments on there. Comments are an unfiltered thing. Trending topics are just to see what the masses are talking about at any given time, and show just a summary of that. So that same type of thing wouldn't work on YouTube.
No, and I mean the comments. I mean, I don't think there should be any type of filtering, but that was just we kind of drifted off there. Like we do.
A little bit.
But but I mean, if you subject yourself, then realize this, because I'm going to tell you, Google, its own CEO Eric Schmidt, has a great way of making public statements, as we've all noticed. Now, what he predicts and actually suggests, because first and foremost, he thinks that in the future our privacy policies will change, but for now, we're subjected to Google, what is known as Google Trails. And so when you go to Google, if you, for instance, search for your own name or your address, location, any type of personal information, that actually links back to you. So something that you do with vanity really can share a lot of private information that you're unaware of. But anytime you use Google for anything, for whether it's, they've set you up pretty well, especially when you have Gmail and you're just automatically signed into Gmail and you do a Google search, it's actually giving information out there that you're not aware of. So what he suggests is that kids should be able to change their names for free when they become adults, due to this reason. And so I think it's kind of interesting because, as we go on with social media, and he thinks you should change your name, period, especially to escape the Google's permanent record. But, you know, in the age of social media and how we brand ourselves with our names, this isn't a really smart suggestion here. In fact, he thinks, you know, changing your name is more important than them changing their ways in regards to privacy. What do you guys think about this?
I think it's stupid.
Yeah.
I mean, it's just I wouldn't go running around naked outside, so why would I post stuff of myself, you know, naked online? Or I wouldn't do something, you know, offline. Why would I do it online? You know what I mean? It's just raising your kids and teaching your kids what is acceptable, you know, online. And it's just an extension of what is acceptable offline.
You know, but the thing is, though, you can't monitor your children all the time. And, you know, back when I was younger and
yeah, but I can't monitor my child all the time, you know, even if he's not online.
Right. And he's going to do stupid things. So, you know, you got to have that guaranteed, especially when you lose your, anonymity, when you go online more so than in real life. And you're still going to do dumb things because that's the human nature of it all. But at the same time, if you go online and say they're at their friend's house and they're online, I mean, the thing is that I think that we need, as people, need to define, as we have with, we want to communicate. We want to have that easy access to be able to talk to people through social networks. That's what's popular. So we need to define, as the people, what we want to have shared on certain social networks. And, you know, that's going to be a hard one to fight. And I know our governments have stepped in and they've tried to take action. And in some cases, especially like Facebook, it's worked. But for how long? And, you know, I don't know if it's going to be necessarily effective because the internet is not regulated like it should be, or like some people think it should be, rather.
Yeah. Now, I do think that people should be able to change their names easily if they desire to do that. But I definitely don't agree with Google that that's the solution here. I think
no.
That's overcompensating.
It's basically saying this is how it is. You have to change.
So how many times
Right.
do you have to change your name anyway? Should you change it like once a year?
What they're saying is that, like, okay, so for instance, when you're a kid and you're online, you're probably going to use your real name. I use my real name on everywhere. And, you know, obviously they have a Google trail on me, and that's fine. I already was aware of that prior to doing this. But some people aren't. And they're saying, you know, especially if you're younger, you know, you're probably going to use your real name. And so when you grow up, you should be able to change your real name, not your internet name, your real name, so it doesn't identify you with that name online to hurt you in any way as we progress into the future with social networking, as jobs look into it, like employers do, schools, as it continues to grow. And, you know, in my personal opinion, especially with social media as a whole, you know, if you want people to know who you are because you want to connect with people. And if you come up with some random name, it kind of separates you. It puts this blockage between you and them that's not real to some people on certain social networks. I mean, Twitter's different, but on certain social networks, people want to connect with people. And in general, people want to connect with people. So
yeah.
What do you do, right? I mean, I'm going past the kid stage. I tweeted this story out, and I actually had someone tweet me back something along the lines of, you know, maybe you should change your Twitter name. And I mean, I just changed my Twitter name to show my real name because, you know, people had a hard time remembering my other Twitter name, and I wasn't being able to connect like I wanted to, and it was all a mess. So I was like, you know what? I'll just go with my own name. And a lot of people do. So I think that Google needs to change something more so than the person that's utilizing it. I think they should take care of us. We're utilizing their search engine. You know, doesn't that make sense?
Well, yeah. And I think there's definitely an inner like conflict going on at Google in terms of, you know, and I think I said this last week, in terms of how they're going to utilize the information that they have. And I just don't think, how can I put it? Go ahead, Ergo.
While you're thinking there, I'm just looking in our chat room right here now just to see who is using real names and who isn't.
I'm using my real name.
Yeah, you are, Aaron is, and Amy Vernon is, and the rest of our viewers right now all have some sort of screen name.
right?
Yeah, I use my last name, first letter of my first name, and my middle initial.
But a lot of those names on the internet are associated with their real names anyways, somewhere when they fill out their information.
Yeah, it's all tracked back, absolutely.
Yeah, exactly. So thanks, Pat. He says, yes, it does, Aaron. Your Twitter handle should match your FB account. But it's funny here. Head Daniel says, that's funny. My Twitter name is Google's.
And Daniel, you're probably going to get sued eventually.
Yes, I mean, I don't know if that Z is going to save you, my friend. Okay.
So cease and desist.
Yeah.
Exactly. So what, I don't know. I think that this is just ridiculous. He's pretty ridiculous when it comes to a lot of things. And I think that, and it's unfortunate that Mark Zuckerberg gets more attention than this dude does. And this guy is telling us that we should be able to change our real names in order to stay online, to carry on into the future, especially the younger we go. So I think that's just a joke. Just a joke. Come on.
Yeah.
You know what's not a joke, though, Jeff?
Yeah, advertising.
Yeah, 3.3 billion.
Advertising. Yeah, so if you guys haven't heard, worldwide advertising on social networks is estimated to hit 3.3 billion in 2010. That is 31% increase from 2009's 2.5 billion. Can anyone guess who holds the largest share of the pie in terms of advertising online?
In social networks or online in general?
Social networks.
The answer's on the screen.
Yeah, there it is. Facebook.
I didn't see that though. 5 points for me.
Facebook accounts for 39% of that total amount, or $1.3 billion will go to Facebook this year. Ad spending is estimated to rise 20% to 1.7 billion. Facebook is gobbling up even more market share in the U.S. And is expected to make up 50% of that amount, compared to the 36% share last year.
Wow, yeah, that's a huge increase. 36 to 50%, half. Facebook has half.
Can you guess what is the biggest loser in social ads this year?
MySpace?
MySpace, it is. Last year, MySpace had a 32% share in social network ad spending, and this year it's 19%. So Facebook is at 50, MySpace is at 19, other social networks are at 23%, and social games and apps are at 8%. So that is pretty outrageous.
Just a side note, I don't know if you guys received it too, but I received an email saying that MySpace is changing their privacy policies and making it easier on its users.
Are they now?
Side note. Yeah, so I'm wondering, I keep hearing about these MySpace changes to come. It's still looking MySpace-ish to me. So if they're updating their privacy, I'm thinking, what are they going to be doing with us? Us that still use MySpace. I don't use it, but I'm still on it. Let's just put it that way. In regards to advertising, I'm not surprised that Facebook is taking the top lead on that, especially with them going with social ads. When we have that on the side, when Facebook first came out and it was like showing the advertisements and it was like an eyesore, which it is on most websites or any type of social networking that you use or anywhere you go online, really. And you look at the side now and it's like, here's the ad and here's that wonderful like button that we're getting so used to on websites now, and we're starting to like on our blogs and anywhere we go that we want to read or take part in. And all of a sudden there's these Facebook likes, and it's so easy. And I know that I'm a button pusher, so if I see a button, I like to push it. And I'm like that in real life. I'm not kidding. I don't know if it's an issue, but and I like to do that. And so online, it's the same kind of thing. If I see something that I like, I want to push that like button, and I think that's pretty brilliant. So they've socialized our advertising without us really understanding, the majority of us, that actually we just clicked like to an advertisement. So we're enabling them to make more money and for advertisements to want to invest more with those 500 million
Yeah,
people.
it's unreal. I mean, think about how many social networking sites there are out there, from big to small. In Facebook has about 50% of that in the U.S. 50%, and that's,
Right.
I mean, I can only see that going up if their Google Places takes off, because more and more businesses
Oh,
are going to want to jump onto that. Then you have geolocation,
right.
which is something that they launched this week.
We finally get to Facebook Places. Hey! Yeah, last night, Ergo, Jeff, and I spent some time with Mark Zuckerberg.
We did it live.
We did it live on,
We did it live.
on live stream. We watched him live. We didn't
We
really
watched.
get
Yep.
to
We watched
hang out
Zucky.
with him. We,
We watched Zucky live.
we did, and it was actually quite interesting. That was last night. They launched brand new Facebook Places, which, Mark Zuckerberg led this live conference with a quick introduction, and he gave us a brief on the new Facebook edition Places, as well as he teased us with new launches to come. Then he, threw us into another person, Facebook's product manager, Michael Sharon, who went way into depth about Facebook Places and had pretty slideshows to show us on the screen. And basically what it is, it's Foursquare, except with the added few features. So, if you like Foursquare, you probably like Facebook Places. They pretty much copied the idea. You're still able to check in. That's the word that they're using. And the location will appear in your status update and your friend's newsfeed. Alongside the familiar feel of Facebook looking like with its like button, like I was talking about, you'll be able to go to the Facebook Places, check in, and they're going to use tagging like they've used within Facebook elsewhere now too. So the tagging that we have with photos, with status updates, you're going to be able to tag your friends, whether they were there or not. But, a lot of people are afraid of that because last night, after they talked about Facebook Places, after Michael Sharon gave us, the run through, we were also taken to Chris Cox, who's the vice president of product at Facebook. And he did this whole sentimental spiel about how Facebook Places is going to give us the opportunity, basically I'm paraphrasing, the opportunity to have our children, our future generation, take part in history and see, where your parents first kissed. And it was really long and it was really sappy. It was kind of cute. I liked it, but Ergo and Jeff were like, oh God, get me out of here. So, they've opened up their API, and here's the big twist that we kind of thought was interesting. Of course, they did the launch. They did this whole gong show and pulled a launch switch and, had questions asked by the audience. Two twists, though. One, did all of the location-based services that are currently implemented out, in our worlds cave? Because last night, a person from Foursquare, Gowalla, and Yelp, as well as some other location-based services, actually, took to the stage and said, we're partnering up with Facebook. And Facebook, again, I said, opened up their API to make that easy for them to implement. Although, they pretty much have, but it seemed as though they were caving into that fear that Facebook's going to take over, so we might as well jump onto their ship. The second thing is that they did not update their privacy policy. So this is, another thing that's going to probably be talked about in the coming days. It's going to fill up.
Tap danced around the question too.
He really did. The guy asked, he said, what about our privacy policy? And they're like, well, we haven't updated it yet. But that's important because, yes, they took a few moments in May to try to fix that issue for us and try to make us feel a little bit calmer and more collected about using Facebook. But implementing any new type of service, come on. You've got to think about the privacy policy when the people have spoken and said, we care about our privacy.
That's when you started seeing a little sweat bead up on his brow. is when he was asked that question. He was like, he didn't know what to do.
Yeah. No, it was interesting. interesting to watch, though. I was like, I'd be plowing through all these people because I would love to have been there. Any type of Facebook deal for me, but it was quite interesting to watch, and I think that Places is a great concept. A lot of people have the fear because, again, something new. What's going to happen to their privacy? Is this going to automatically opt them in? And it's not. There's been blog posts that have been put out there. I've seen them myself. I know that you've probably seen them as well. And just for those that haven't, if you haven't seen it, a lot of people are saying that with Facebook Places, it's going to automatically opt you in if you have your mobile phone connected to Facebook. Then you'll be able to just automatically tweet out not tweet out your location, send out your status update of your location. Now, that's not true. You actually have to opt in, okay? And the other thing is that if you want to tag somebody, a lot of people were afraid of that. It's like, what if I'm not with this person? What if they just want to tag me out of badness? A lot of people were saying that you can just tag somebody and that's going to go into their newsfeed. That is also incorrect. What's going to happen is if you are tagged with Places, what you will get a notification showing that you've been tagged, and you will be able to allow it or not allow it. So if you've opted in and you want to opt out, I've got a quick solution for you. Just go to your privacy settings pages on Facebook, and you'll see Places I check in, and it'll say include me in people here now. And after I click in, which people here now is the place where it's all going to accumulate, and you can click enable or unclick enable. You want to do the same thing under where it says, photos and videos I'm tagged in, any places that you're able to tag. At the bottom, it'll start saying, friends can check me into Places. You want to select one, and I'm going to say either friends only or just opt out of it altogether. Don't put anything in there. So, it's pretty simple and straightforward. If you go under your edit settings, you also want to make sure that you unclick Places I've visited, so it doesn't
Aaron,
show up.
Amy Vernon is saying that Facebook's default setting is you're not opted in.
I was opted in.
That's right.
I didn't change anything. Well, I just changed it now, but this include me in the Places or people here now after I check in was by default. And Places I check in was set to friends. What were the other settings you were saying?
Oh, okay, never mind. She says, I went into my settings and the default was checked that others could tag me and that I was set up. I did not opt in. Facebook's default was automatically put in, and it's totally hidden too.
Okay. Well, according to Facebook, they did make a statement, and they said that you're not supposed to be able to just opt in. You're supposed to make that choice. It says Facebook Places is... some places are saying that it's just an opt-in, but Facebook has actually counteracted and said it's not. You should be able to opt in. Now, again, this is slowly rolling out. It's not, last night it started slowly rolling out. I'm not sure how widespread it is across everybody or how exactly they're doing it. They're not supposed to be able to just default you. So, unfortunately, if that's happened to Ergo and Amy, I'm sure there's many of you out there that's happened to, but that is what it's coming from Facebook. This isn't a report on somebody else. This is literally coming from Facebook saying that you're not supposed to be automatically opted in.
Yeah, but Facebook has said a lot of stuff. Facebook has said a lot of stuff, and not really
I know.
With it. So this is just one more feather in the fail cap for them, if it really is the truth.
Well, that this one's going to cause an uproar if this is the case, because the thing is that maybe they've hidden a lot of stuff in the past, but this is the first time that they publicly stated something. And then they're not going to it's actually a big, huge, fat lie, especially after this whole privacy deal. This will cause a big problem for them when it comes to their Places. And that's the thing. Facebook is so brilliant and so easily loved by many people, yet they don't take the time to really take into account prior to launching something new on Facebook, how will our people react? And I think that needs to be stated. If that happened to me, if I was opted in, Amy, I would actually email Facebook.
Okay, check this out. This setting, friends can check me into Places. This one is not set by default at all. So I think this might be the one that is automatically disabled. But if you actually go and check into something, because if you just go, if you have either the iPhone app or you go to touch.facebook.com in either your web browser or your phone, if it does HTML5, if you check in, it'll automatically share those. But the setting in particular is only this friends can check me in one that I think that they're talking about.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, okay.
Let me just quickly break it down. You're supposed to have the choice to opt in or not. Facebook has stated that you are supposed to have the choice. Then you're supposed to have the choice to opt out. Nothing is supposed to be default. Nothing. And if it's showing default, I would definitely, I'll probably write a blog post on that. Because, I mean, seriously, that if they're stating that and they're having a representative state that, then they need to follow through, because this is going to cause a huge uproar. So, check your settings immediately, because this rolled out last night. So it's, it might not be at you yet, but check it in the coming days and make sure that you are not automatically opted in. However, if somebody tags you, you are supposed to get a notification stating that someone has tagged you. Do you want to allow or not allow? And you should be able to choose. So that's what I would do. Always with anything new on any social network, regardless of what they say, be sure to check your settings, because that's how they make money. They make money by duping us, and that's unfortunate, but that's how come it's so free. Yeah. And I hate that Facebook does that, because it's really frustrating. But at the same time, it is up to the user to take control over their own settings. So be sure to check your settings for Places, Facebook Places. Okay?
Yeah. Now, I just wanted to read the results here. We had a poll running for the last few minutes, asking which site will you check into, and more than 50%, about 56% of our viewers say that they'll be using Foursquare only. About 22% say they'll be using Facebook only, and the other 22% are saying they won't use any. So Foursquare is still winning here, at least.
Yeah, I mean, you got to diversify your social media at least.
Okay, but let's be clear, though. They've partnered with Facebook, so check your settings there as well.
Yeah, I understand that, but also, I mean, they're still pretty independent in the sense. I know a couple of days ago when they were learning about the launch of this, didn't Foursquare do a lot in terms of privacy?
I think the only things that they're sharing are if you have your accounts linked in the first place here.
But I already have my account linked from Foursquare to Twitter.
So if it's already posting things to your Facebook, it'll probably continue doing that. And I don't know if they're doing it yet, but they'll probably have a setting that'll allow you to automatically check in on Facebook if you're checking in on Foursquare. Because I already use a site. I do use Foursquare myself, and I use a site called check.in, and it lets me check into Foursquare, Gowalla, and then there's a local one in the Raleigh area here called Tryout that I use as well. So I check into all three of those with check.in, and I'm assuming Foursquare will be doing a similar thing, letting you to check into Facebook as well, and that'll be the final integration. That's my theory.
Yeah, but it was interesting to see Foursquare, Yelp, Gowalla, and all of them at the press conference yesterday.
Yeah, that is definitely true. I wasn't expecting that.
Yeah, and I mean, regardless, even though they're independent, I would still check your settings there too, because Facebook's very persuasive. They're intimidating. Speaking of bullying earlier,
but hold on. But dude, can you imagine being there, like someone representing Foursquare, like the guy yesterday, and basically the same thing that you do is what Facebook is doing now, minus the tagging. It's like, you'd sit there and be like, this is BS. This is BS. This is exactly what we do. And now, the only difference is tagging, friend tagging. I don't know.
So, JD, you decided to join us here, so welcome.
I was going to say, that guy kind of looks like JD Record. Who is that guy?
Can you hear me?
Yes. Yeah. So JD, what about you? Are you going to be using the new Facebook Places?
If it's... No. I mean, unless it grows in popularity, I'm a follower. So if everybody's using it, then I guess I'll go ahead and do it. But for right now, I'm perfectly happy with Foursquare. So I'm about to check in. Hold on. Let me go ahead and check in now with waking up from extended nap. Yeah.
Excellent.
Hi.
No.
So yes, no force. No
I think we're actually in JD's
Facebook
dream.
meetings, unless I get a valid. No, hey, I've already done the show. I did the show like I guess about 2 hours ago from sleep. So. Sleep. And there's my dog.
Okay. Well, let's try to get a little bit back on track here then. Let JD wake up a little bit, but I'm really glad he joined us. I would love to hear his take on Facebook Places besides just being on Foursquare.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, so it was inevitable. At first I was very skeptical because I am one of those detractor guys. You know, I'm always skeptical and kind of eyeball anything that Facebook does. Not so much through the glass that, you know, anytime Google does anything, Jason looks through the evil glass. You know, are they doing something evil? Mine is more, are they doing something stupid? Hold on real quick. Sorry.
Don't we get hold music or anything? Nothing?
Yeah, I know. No, I had to. It's been, you know, yeah. So excuse me. So Facebook, yes, Facebook is I look through them through my are they stupid glass, because it seems as if most of the time they do something that's pretty stupid. And this time I think I'm looking at it, I'm trying to poke a hole in it. It's like, well,
I
okay.
don't think it's stupid.
It was
inevitable.
They got the competitors, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, they got the early adopters, the people that already know the space. That, you know, first biggest mistake is what Google usually does is if Google was doing this, they would have either built their own and it would have sucked, or they would have picked out the one that's least likely.
JD,
you know what I mean?
Your
It's like
connection's breaking up here.
Yeah.
Son of a
I'm
gun.
losing you.
Sorry.
Now when I kill your video, just go on audio, so it might work better. There you go.
Yeah.
Can you hear? Can
We
I hear
can.
you better? Okay. So Google would have gone about and picked out, either built their own and it would have been crappy, or picked out the worst possible one and decided to buy them. Facebook, I would have expected to do the same, but the strategy seems to be, hell, it's pretty, it's pretty sound. Okay,
Yeah.
so let's put it together. Let's announce it during the week, where there's some activity, but not a ton. But definitely try to do it prior to school, when it will have the best human buzz effect. Let's take the people that are already in there and give them an opportunity to integrate with us, create an API that makes it to where their stuff is our stuff, is their stuff is our stuff, and everybody can get along. And I'm just thinking, I mean, there's got to be something that Mark's going to do to mess it up, unless this isn't Mark's thing. And that's when I realized, Mark probably doesn't even know this is happening. He's probably still in lawsuit land, trying to figure out how to not sell his company for $3,000 for 84% of it. So this is probably some technology people going in and doing the smart thing, which is what it looks like to me. So that's my assessment. I think it will be successful, but as long as I don't have to, as long as I can do it from Foursquare, because I am, as Jeff said, I'm connected. I can post to Facebook anytime I want through Foursquare, so I'm good. I don't need to go places.
I do think that this is going to actually end up being successful, just because most people, the general Facebook user, has no idea what Foursquare is, and if they see people posting updates via Foursquare that they checked in, they're still like, what the hell is this? But
Sure.
now that Facebook has it built in, I do think that a lot of people are going to use it.
Well,
just the final thought that I have on it is really my favorite part about Foursquare is the whole point system and getting badges and being a mayor of places, and Facebook doesn't have any of the game aspects. So for me,
Right.
I don't see any reason why I'd want to use Facebook. That's
well,
why
they don't,
I know.
Don't forget. Oh, I'm sorry, real quick, Aaron. Don't forget, this does not the whole game here. The whole location-based check-in stuff has absolutely 100% zero to do with how many people they're able to get. If they get literally 1%, then they're fine. And you know, Heck, Foursquare already has more than 1% of the Facebook population. So let's assume they get over 1%. The end goal here is two things. There's two things they're shooting for. A, integration with business from a buzz perspective. I don't know if it's going to work. So that in itself, businesses being able to utilize this location-based stuff for coupons, for all this stuff. But at the end of the day, that's even secondary. The real secret sauce, the real reason that they're going after this is because of the data. All they want, Facebook's always been understood that their place in life and advertising has nothing to do with reach. Reach is easy, that's where advertising comes in, but the real data, or the real gump or bump or whatever you want to call it, is going to be the data they collect from it.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
even if they get 1%, or let's say 2% cross section of the country or of the world, they're gold. Go ahead, Aaron. I'm sorry.
Okay, just quickly, before I move on, I know that Head Daniel has left. Hopefully he'll rewatch us on YouTube, but he asks a good question. So wait, I just want to sign up on Foursquare, and should I log in with Facebook linking? I would say that's completely up to you. If you're wanting to utilize something like Foursquare and allow people to know your location, and you want to share that on Facebook, and you feel comfortable with doing that, make sure that your privacy settings on Facebook are to certain people that you feel comfortable sharing that information with, like only friends. But that means it's going to limit you on certain sharing abilities with people outside that box. I'd love to hear your guys' perspective on what you think Head Daniel should do, or anyone else that might be asking the same type of question. Jason? Jeff? JD?
I'm looking, I'm already connected, so I answered my portion of the question already.
Yeah, for me, I prefer not to have Facebook publish every place I go to. On Foursquare, I accept only certain people that get to know where I am, so I don't think they should be linked. That's my
mine is linked, but I can choose whether or not I want to post it there. So if I'm at a place that I want people to know I'm at, then I'll post it. If not, then I don't choose to post it.
There you go.
Messed up the other night, Jeff, when you were at the strip club.
Yeah, exactly.
I wasn't there. Look at my Foursquare. I wasn't there.
I just checking off the grid in that case. I gotta pick up the badge.
Soji Shirt says just sign into Foursquare. So again, it seems to be that we're divided. Do what's best for you. That's my thought.
Yeah.
But ergo, if you could sign up and share it with Twitter, would you?
Absolutely not. I can, and I have that turned
Yeah.
off.
Well, okay.
I have my Foursquare updates only go on Foursquare. That's the first rule of Foursquare: turning off the auto posting to Twitter and Facebook.
Okay.
Especially if you have Twitter and Facebook linked, because and I actually ran into that problem.
Yeah.
I had it posted on Facebook and then Twitter posted it back on Facebook.
I did that on the day when I was giving a presentation of the errors of double posting. Seriously, no joke.
Ooh, that sounds like a blunder.
Blunders of social media?
Social media blunder.
That sounds like something we wanted to talk about here.
Blunder alert. Blunder alert.
Blunder! It was a total mess up. So this show, and I wasn't going to jump in. I wanted to toss that out there just in case. But one of the things we wanted to talk about initially before I fell asleep for 4 hours was absolute and total failures in the social media realm. And they have a top 10 list that they have wonderfully put together. I've got another 14, but I don't think we'll be able to run through them all.
Where'd you find this 14?
Yes, please share.
Just research. There are examples all along the way of how companies will go through, and not just companies, individuals, companies, bands, anyone who goes through and they're trying to utilize social media for something positive, and they utterly and miserably fail for one reason or another. A perfect example of this happened in 2009 when Honda Motor Company USA was integrating with social media, and they were making their very first attempt at promoting or launching a vehicle via social media. So they created a Facebook page for their product store, which is one of those mixture, not a minivan, not an SUV, not a car, kind of
crossover.
Yeah, a straight-up crossover vehicle, and they called it the Cross Store. And they didn't have it launched yet, but they had a photographer go and take pictures, and they posted it up on their specific tab as well as a separate page for the Cross Store. And the initial responses, because there was a lot of buzz about it, a lot of avid Honda buyers and Honda enthusiasts who were excited about it. They saw the pictures, and the response was meh, pretty much. It's like, wow, this isn't what we expected. This isn't what we wanted. And so some employees at Honda, as well as at the agency that was working with Honda at the time, decided to try to turn things around and make things positive. So they started posting positive comments. Unfortunately for them, they didn't think it was necessary to announce that they were posting these positive comments from Honda. They were pretending to be just people randomly coming in and saying, "Oh wow, I don't know what you all are talking about. I think that this is a beautiful car. This is great. I'm going to buy one as soon as it comes out." And then you see a response later. "Yeah, I looked your profile up, Michael, and it appears that you're with the Honda opinion, and you should have probably mentioned that." And they went through another round of debacles of saying, "Well, we asked for these photographs to be this way, and the photography company." It was basically a 4-day ordeal that was covered by New York Times, Business Week, TechCrunch, National. Yes.
Was this one of the incidents that prompted the FTC regulations of blog disclosure or social media disclosure?
Well, it wasn't one of the promptings, but it was one of the ones that they used as an example. I mean, they were. This was, and I actually may have been a prompting to push it forward. But yes, this was already in the FTC disclosure rules were already in the works when this was coming out. But it was absolutely used as an example of how, hey, we got something here with social media, and we need to really determine how we can be transparent and make sure that people are seeing the right things and not seeing BS like this from Honda. So yes, whether it was a prompting or not, that you sound like you may know for sure. I thought that it was just an example I added to the pot. That's
when did it occur?
I think it was approximately September.
Yeah, because the FCC regulations came out in December.
Right, but I'm saying that's what I'm saying. They were already in the works at the time, so yeah. I wouldn't imagine that was a prompting, but it was definitely utilized as an example of what not to do in social media.
Yeah.
So in my opinion, that's one of my votes for a total fail. Ergo, what about anything up in the sky?
Yeah, probably my favorite one. The example is, as you might have heard it, US Air breaks guitars is definitely one of my favorite ones here. Basically, this guy, he was flying on U.S. Airlines, and he had checked his guitar in as baggage. And I believe it was as he was getting off the plane, or he's looking out the window, and he sees U.S. Air break his guitar there. And he tried first talking to them, getting them to do the right thing, but it ended up not being the case. They didn't want to help him at all, so he put a song up on YouTube. He was a musician. I think it took him, if I remember here, he did this over a course of like a year and still got nothing from US Air. So he put up this song on YouTube, and overnight it blew up, went viral. It was on CNN and all sorts of other places. And it was just this huge disaster for US Air. And I believe that they're still trying to recover from it to this day.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Really? To this day? I remember when we talked about that. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, it just amazes me how companies just, screw you, and then it comes like this, and then oh, we're so sorry, whatever you need.
Yeah. So what they should have just taken care of us in the first place, and wouldn't have been as big of a deal. But yeah, so huge issue there.
So we might be saying waving goodbye.
Waving goodbye. Oh. I guess that's a key to me here. Yeah, Google Wave. This, I guess, isn't quite the same deal as the other ones we've been talking about so far, but it was kind of one of Google's failures in an attempt to get people to use something social media related here. A year ago, they were touting this as the biggest thing. It was going to change everything. It was going to replace email. It was going to replace blogs. All forms of communication, instant messaging, everything was now going to be used through this new Google Wave technology. And we reported on this I think it was either last week or the week before. They are now closing the doors. By the end of the year, Google Wave is going to be shut down.
It's I think that there were actually some people that were so excited about it they actually had their mouths closed completely and only had a straw for food and stuff because they felt that with Google Wave they'd no longer have a need to talk. And it just kind of, in my opinion, was totally underwhelming. But we might see it again in a variation, or at least some of the technology integrated to Google Meet. More to come on that later. What else is there? Are there any other examples of good social media failures that we have on your plate? Or go, oh no, it's on my plate now. I see.
Mm-hmm.
It's switch plate. So back to Rucker's plate. Yeah. So for those who've never heard of a Propeller, you're not alone. Propeller used to be called Netscape. Netscape was purchased by AOL. AOL decided to take Netscape and take it from the Navigator and turn it into a portal site similar to old MSN, Yahoo, stuff like that. And they also decided to plug in. Excuse me. They decided to plug in a different name for it. They thought, you know what, Netscape is a dying brand. Let's change it to Propeller. And there was a lot of people that were involved. Propeller went so far as to pay big users to like power users such as DigiDave, a good friend of ours, and other people to come on, and they would make money by simply posting to Propeller. You know, take some of their dig expertise, their social media, social content knowledge, and move that juice over to, at the time, Netscape and then Propeller. And it was just it was dubbed as the big killer, and it never truly materialized. So they switched to Propeller, which was mistake number 14. And then if you skip ahead to mistake number 19, they did a redesign of the site, which is the current site incantation, and it's just it's totally lost. If you go to Propeller right now, you will see the channel. I don't even have to go there. I can tell you that of the front page items, most of them will have just a handful of props for
two votes, 4 votes, 4 votes, 5, 7. Oh look, one got 7.
Strong. That's super
13.
viral.
13.
That's the equivalent of a big sidebar in Propeller terms. And now it is also overrun by spam. Just as an example, this is nothing against any particular country or anything like that. But the United States is not the biggest user of Propeller, oddly enough, compared to other social news sites where the United States is normally dominant. In this particular case, there
Is
are.
it France?
No. It's a country very well known for outsourcing search engine optimization and stuff like that. So, yeah, that was a big one. I see people crossed out. Is that a good or bad? I mentioned Vivo.
Run with it. Go with it.
Vivo, just a quick, this was a major fail in my opinion. And again, from my friends over at AOL. Keep in mind, I'm not ripping on AOL. I think AOL is a good company. They just have had some
bad moves.
Yeah, they've
Poor leadership.
They've been making mistakes. You just realize that AOL is a 25-year-old company. I mean, just think about that.
How many years?
25 years.
AOL's been around for 25 years?
Maybe it's 15. I think I did carry my 2. They've been around for a long, long time, and they have been epitomizing fail for a while. But they keep trying, and luckily they do have enough of a presence to where I think they will be successful, especially with some of the new leadership that I've been able to see from a social media aspect. That's a whole other story. So AOL decided to buy a company, Vivo, and Vivo was in the mix with at the time MySpace was the basically undisputed top social network. There were up-and-comers such as Facebook, Vivo, High Five. Friendster was still around. Friendster was one of the originals, and they were still very strong. And they decided to buy Vivo for $850 million, which at the time was considered actually a pretty good steal. Then earlier this year, back in June, after just never basically failure to launch anything of significance, they sold it back to somebody else for like $10 million. So they bought it for $850 million and ended up selling it for $10 million. And that to me, I consider that something that we can call a fail of all this stuff. Back to the skies, Jeff.
Just before we move to that, just to give the answer, I actually checked, and they were actually founded in 1983 as Quantum Computer Services. So that's actually 27 years. So they did a little rebranding over the years, but you actually were pretty much right.
Pretty close, yeah.
I was not aware. Go ahead, Jeff. To the skies.
Well, this is a story that we actually covered a couple weeks ago when Boeing took a drawing suggestion from our favorite 8-year-old. Basically, in legal speak, threw it in the trash can. Sent the 8-year-old a legal letter documenting that we don't accept, this type of suggestions. We're sorry, we couldn't look at it. Little did Boeing know that the 8-year-old's father was big in social media. The father wrote a blog post basically blasting Boeing for the letter that his 8-year-old received, and just created this firestorm on Boeing. Didn't do Boeing very well. Boeing finally came out, apologized, and the 8-year-old got a tour of the plant, and then they had a day held on his behalf to draw or color prototype airplanes. So
that was a good story. I liked that one. It was a good outcome.
A blunder that had a happy ending. Yeah.
It did. I think that was great for the little boy. I mean, we talked about this previously as well, and I think that was.
I'm sorry. Go ahead. I didn't know you're going to move on. Go ahead. Stop or go. Rude.
It's okay. I just think that it was a great outcome, and good thing that Boeing listened at that time. Now, I'd be interested to know if they're listening now. Did they learn from that mistake?
Yeah, that'd be interesting. Why don't you send in a colored drawing?
I'm so doing it. I'm going to draw your head and stuff.
Yeah.
Flying.
So I will disagree. I'm going to disagree with Aaron on this one, and say that this was not a positive outcome. That this is something that is, and this is a future episode that I think we should cover this, but I think this is a perfect example of a growing trend that we're going to dub right now on Social Blade called giving into the demands of social media terrorists. And it's something that,
I like that.
At this point, because people that, normal, average, everyday people are now given, are given the ability to manufacture power, so to speak, to manufacture a voice. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That's a good thing. But when you see companies, the fact that, okay, so they go through and they jump through all these hoops to try to turn this PR mess around and not be the guys that gave the middle finger to the 8-year-old. It's a perfect example of how, if you've got a voice, if you have the ability to go viral, so to speak, and tell your story online, that you can actually make demands of companies, and these companies are going to fold. Look at what happened with I know these are two different airliners, but I mean, same thing pretty much happens with US Air. Was US Air right to not refund the guitar? Technically speaking, yes, because when you're a traveler, you sign up for this. Stuff gets broken, lost, destroyed every day, and they're able to accommodate most people. But think about it from this perspective. If you have social media power, you want a little bit of money, you make a claim about how somebody breaks something, you take it viral, they get annoyed. You don't even have to actually necessarily have that thing broken. All you got to do is whine enough and get enough people to hate US Air for them to do something about it. And again, I'm not saying I'm torn, because I love the idea of people having the power to voice themselves, but I'm scared of the terrorists, the ones that are going to go on there and utilize this for a bad reason. And if companies are willing to give into these demands, to jump through hoops so that they can avoid PR nightmares, then we're going to see an influx. So all I've got to do is get me a blog, get it popular, and then now, if I want to say that Wendy's had I found rat turds in my Wendy's chili, then they're gonna probably figure out a way to make me happy, or else I'm gonna blog about it, and they can't do anything about it because they can't prove otherwise. Blah blah blah.
I agree with you on. I agree with you on that, JD. Let's just please the person so we can just clean up this mess. I don't think that's appropriate. But I still think you should voice your opinion to no matter how big the company is, no matter what, and utilize your social networks if you can to try to get their attention in a constructive way, because you never know how you're going to change their minds. You never know if you're going to be able to open their eyes to see we're not pleasing our customers. This is what we need to do. So
you're absolutely right. Keep in mind, I'm not ripping on the kid from Boeing. I'm not ripping on the band from US Air. I think those are great examples of using social media to get things done. I'm saying on a side note that I think that the reason I'm unhappy about all this is because I'm scared of the
long-term effect.
Yes, I'm scared of the whole idea. If companies are willing to give into this notion of social media terrorism, then people can utilize this power negatively very, very quickly and easily. I've thought about it myself. I seriously have. I'm not kidding you. I've been, and it's funny. I was at an airline. I've tweeted about it before. I've had issues and concerns with United Airlines just because I've had approximately 12 out of 16 flights that have had something wrong, such as missing pilots, missing batteries, missing planes and stuff like that, and then poor customer service. So I've thought about, what, I need to just start a campaign. And but I've also seen the negative part of it, and I don't want to. This one that I'm involved with right now, or not technically involved, but semi-involved with right now, is an example of where here's a gentleman who is attacking a business because he feels that they did something wrong to him, and long story short, the guy ends up buying views on YouTube, gets like 100,000 views, and now here's a business that's being damaged based upon what his actions and his false use of social media. So yeah, it's a whole other story, a whole other topic. We should probably cover that someday in the future. But I am much more interested in what Aaron has to say quickly.
Wow. Yeah, you know what? There isn't a specific story on this one. It's just something that, a lot of people really hate. But tweeting personal information when you think you're DMing it, that has been a blunder a lot of people have made. Some celebrities have made too. And the thing is that, recently Justin Bieber actually tweeted a person's name. This is a no-no. I mean, not a name, sorry, a number. That's a no-no. However, he did it on purpose because this person annoyed him, and he's a celebrity. Although he's a kid, he's a celebrity. He should have more common sense. But, some of us even here have made this mistake of tweeting personal information, such as your phone number, your address, something you just thought you were going to share between another person. You thought you were DMing them, but you tweeted it instead. And that is a huge mistake that we all hope we learn from. Unless you have 5 followers. Unless you have 5, well, you can still find a creepy out of 5 followers. You can still find a creepy. Yeah.
Well, you would have found a creepy in Domino's Pizza.
Well, hold on, before we move there, just one thing. Twitter's fixed this since then, but actually, I accidentally did tweet my phone number once a year ago, a little over, maybe, I don't know, 2 years ago maybe. And it used to, if you deleted a tweet, it didn't used to delete it from Twitter search. So I had a ticket open with them for about a month to get my phone number taken out of search.
Darn it! Oh. Okay, so back to Domino's.
Yeah, here's another. This was a huge one that really prompted the whole changing of Domino's image. Revamping the pizza, revamping just everything. Was a couple of Domino's employees tweeted a video that they had made behind the scenes making a pizza of them, basically throwing ingredients on the floor, snotting in the pizza, and doing a lot of just different stuff that you would otherwise not want to see. Tweeted the video out. The video just went viral, destroyed Domino's image. That people just already didn't like their pizza, but just destroyed them. And really prompted them to change not only the recipe, but really try to change their image. And I think they're still suffering from it.
No, I don't think they are. I don't think they are.
I think, I'm about to hear it.
Yeah, you know what? I think what's happened is that opened their eyes, and I think that they've saved themselves. They've dug themselves out of that hole. JD.
I still don't go to Domino's.
Oh, I
No,
love Domino's.
It's
Ugh, Domino's
so-
is gross.
it's funny because the opening. I think you're both right. I think they are definitely still feeling some of the repercussions because it's still getting views. People are still seeing it. But since then, Domino's has become much more active on social media, including this one couple of campaigns that they've run where they've utilized tweets and they've been so open about the social media. They had a site where they had the new sauce, the new pizza rollout, and they allowed people's active tweets to post on there. And I started to write a story about how it was bad because it was a bad idea because a lot of people were putting negative stuff. Before I even wrote that story, they post on there, hey, we know we're getting negative feedback. Feedback is feedback. We're listening. And I thought that was so admirable. And then they got tons of positive feedback about being gutsy and bold and all that good stuff. So bad Domino's, good Domino's, bad Domino's. I still don't like their pizza very much. I'm with Jeff on that.
But I think that what happened with their employers, that's a good example to educate your employers not to necessarily.
Employees, yeah.
I'm sorry, employers to.
Guys, don't snot in our food, okay? Take our product and don't videotape yourself snotting.
Right. Funny, but not necessarily that, but to be more aware that we're in that day and age where it's like, this actually can affect a brand. So, and it did. And, the great thing about it is that Domino's then put themselves head first into social media. And I think it turned it around. I don't see it anymore as that one time at Domino's.
I still don't go there.
Yeah, they recovered fine. I've had a little bit, but
a little bit.
I know. I mean, I've had some Domino's. I did try it because of that, and I thought that it was an improvement, still not the best. Social media can affect a brand. Social media can also affect a band, in many cases. And I don't see a name attached to it.
This one exactly wasn't the fault of Hayley Williams. Well, I guess it's partly, but Hayley Williams from Paramore had her Twitter account hacked, and apparently she had a nude photograph of herself in her twit pic. Was it like bucket? What do you call it? Like just twit pic, album. And this person found the photo and tweeted it out to everyone, and the nude photo of her was everywhere. And just another example of make sure you realize what you're putting there online, and securing your stuff, because obviously I don't think she really wanted that photo to get out to everybody. Quite embarrassing.
That would be very embarrassing. And that's the thing too, I'm really happy celebrities that actually use Twitter or Facebook or any other type of social network that they connect with people if they're actually the real people. And there are some celebrities that actually really do utilize these social networks and not necessarily get publicists to post for them and pretend to be them. But that would be extremely embarrassing, and I'm happy that they're embracing social media, but at the same time they are subjecting themselves to this type of stuff, and I think we're probably going to see more of that to come. What do you guys think?
I hope we don't see too many more, because it's I want this to be safe for work.
Yes.
Yeah.
Safe for work.
I actually did see okay, no, I'm not even going to go there. Not even going there.
That's why you're off. That's why you're not on video right now. You have the picture hanging up, don't you, JD?
Yeah. Well, it made me look up. I was like, "Who's Paramore?" I admit it.
Oh God.
No, not because of that. I'm just saying it was publicity to the point. It was like, is this like a famous band? The last famous band. I'm still rocking out the Def Leppard because I'm old, and I've come to grips with my age of late. But
wait. Oh, okay, of late.
Lately, nah.
This week.
That's a lot. Heck, I went to see the Kings of Leon concert last month, so I guess I'm not that old. Anyway, one thing that I don't do very much anymore, and I know that everyone else on this call and everyone else in the chat room does, is drink Canadian beer.
Well, this is a huge one. Molson's Canadian, which is a Canadian brewery or beer, had a Facebook contest where to be able to get submitted into the contest and be able to be eligible, you had to post a picture of yourself getting absolutely wasted, just something out of control, just you drinking, party scenes, in order to be eligible. And this created a huge problem for universities and in schools because it looked like Molson's was promoting underage drinking because they couldn't really verify the ages of some of these kids. And it was just promoting irresponsible drinking. And basically the campaign was a huge failure just because of the backlash that it created.
I have nothing to say about that, and I am Canadian.
You posted a picture on there. I actually found one.
I like Molson myself. It's a pretty decent beer. And there, guys, there are so many more. There's probably at least a dozen more examples. If you in the audience, if you have any examples that you'd like to send us, you know how to contact us at socialblade.com/show. Contact us and tell us examples that you've seen. And we're going to compile these for next week's show, a blog post that'll show the ones that we talked about today, plus a bunch of others, and let's try to determine, via vote, comments, whatever, what is the biggest social media failures of current. I don't want to say of all time because it's going back probably 4 years, but
yeah.
So, but
JD,
but at least
JD,
the current ones, yeah.
Can I just say something really quick? I am actually going to meet JD for the first time ever this coming week, starting on Monday, and I'm super excited. So hopefully we'll have some videos to share with you guys of me in California and hanging out with JD Rucker for the first time, and have some content for you next week. Unfortunately, I won't be able to be here because I'll be up in the sky speaking about all this plane talk that we've been having tonight. I'll be actually up in the sky next time during Social Blade. So that's where I'll be. I know they'll spin it and say that I'm eating seals or something, which will be interesting to see when I watch the video. But I'm so excited. My first time to California and first time meeting JD Rucker. I'm hoping that I'll be able to meet a few other of you that are out there. So anyways, just want to put that out there, and hopefully we'll have good video for you next week.
I hope you don't take video from that phone camera you've been using.
Oh, stop. No, I'm not. Oh, stop. I wish I had another video camera, but
hopefully we'll be taking video from the Droid X if I can get mine in before then. Yeah, great show. I missed all of it, but I know it was awesome because I have awesome co-hosts who can cover when somebody is snoring. They've heard me snore before and they felt the effects of it, so we love that. Good stuff. Tonight's show, if it wasn't mentioned earlier, is sponsored by lightspeednow.com. That's lightspeednow.com. Thank you all for being here. All of you in the room, in the audience. Again, always we love you being here. We love having your presence, your comments, your interactions, your engagements, and some tweets from some of you saying, "Rucker, wake up." It's funny, some of the people are like, they knew.
Did they tweet you?
They tweeted me saying, "Rucker, get up. We know you're napping."
We had nothing to do with that, by the way. Nothing.
Yeah, they were tweeting. You can find us every week. First of all, obviously Thursday at 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. You can find us at socialblade.com/show. You can also engage with us on social media via Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube. It's all under Social Blade. So go to Social Blade, on the Social Blade account under Twitter, Facebook, and YouTube, and make sure to like us, follow us, friend us, comment on us, and all that good stuff. Just engage with us, and we'll engage back. That's how we roll at Social Blade Show. Suggested guests, you can always do that straight from our blog. While you're there, you can check out our past guests, as well as read our social media, Social Blade style posts, which there's supposed to be 2 going up for me today, and I snorted my way through them. So more of those to come. Sign up for SMS alerts. The SMS, for those who don't know, stands for something, and I don't know, but I know that you get messages on your phone when you do it. So you can sign up for it. Just go to jump./subus. It's j.mp/subus, and sign up for your favorite shows, such as Social Blade on Thursday nights. Also, Ask Outcast Tuesdays at 8 p.m. Eastern. Band on the Web Tuesdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. And the Drill Down Wednesdays at 9:30 Eastern. And yeah, thank you guys for being here. And I appreciate every one of you, and I'm sure all of my co-hosts appreciate everyone except for me. They hate me right now. Just remember, in social media, don't be a social media terrorist, because we are Social Blade.